repair. In this video I'm going to be showing you one of the common faults on these white knight tumble dryers. If your machine is making funny noises and you can hear either a rubbing or a thumping noise normally coming from the motor location, is a good chance that the fan blade has actually gone faulty. These can fill up with fluff, they can warp in their shape, so they actually start catching on the housing as the motor's turning, and this will give you like a little thumping noise or possibly a scraping noise. You'll find that your tumble dryer is heating, but it's not drying very efficiently, and this could either be because the blade itself is warped, it could be full of fluff, or it may be slipping on the motor shaft itself. But this video will show you how to strip the machine down and replace this fan blade. There are other videos on the website to show you how to change the belt, the heater, other faults with the motor, capacitor and forward thermostat. These can all be found at the website, and all the parts can be found at the website by either using the layered navigation, using your model number. The model number can normally be found on these white knight at the rear of the machine, and you will need either the C44A7W on this one. This one's a 44AW, and there is also another number in some models where we will need that number that's just below it. But this video will take you through the procedure of replacing the fan blade. Straightforward standard Phillips screwdriver. This actually allows us to get this front part of the clip, which you'll see in a minute. I'll just turn the machine round and we'll take the back off. So we're going to remove the whole of this. The first two screws you need to undo are these. This actually holds the tube system in place. Now we need to undo all the screws around here. You might find that the two screws here are slightly different thread on some models. I've got the two bottom ones. Be careful of your fingers, these are sharp edges. This needs to come up a little bit and then it slides out. Now you can actually see the whole tube system here. I'll do a close-up of this. Now as you can see, the hose down here has perished. There's a retaining screw on some of the models at the top, but we need to actually disconnect this box. Now the reason why I took the front panel off was so it will hinge and can go across. Now we're able to remove the whole hose. And you can see the fluff inside the machine. Really, you want to get a vacuum cleaner and hoover all this out, because this fabric which has come off the clothing has basically gone all through the machine, and it's really a fire hazard like this, so you want to hoover all this out. To remove the motor, first we need to take the belt off. Now we need to tip the machine over and undo the 4 screws that hold the motor in place, but also there is one at the top here which is a pin that locates, and we need to try and get that out. You may need to use a small screwdriver on this. This pin at the top actually locks it in place, so we just need to carefully remove that. Quite difficult to get your hand in. And this is the little locating lug, or pin. Now we've got that out, we need to turn the machine over and undo the 4 screws on the motor. These are the 4 screws, and there's a couple of tabs that it'll slide up once we have it released. Keep these screws separate, they are a different size to the others. Now that we've actually undone the motor, it's ready to come out. What we need to do is remove the wiring. So first thing you really want to do is take a photograph of the wiring so you make sure it goes back correctly. Now we have that photograph. First thing, always remember, whenever dealing with a capacitor, always discharge the capacitor. Use insulated handles on a screwdriver or a pair of pliers, and then with the appliance, should already be unplugged from the electricity, but with a pair of pliers, just go across the two sides of the capacitor and make sure it's discharged. Then we'll undo the clip. One wire, second wire, third wire. That's all disconnected now and the motor's ready to come out. You'll need to turn this up and that will release the plastic cover, and now the motor can come out. It is quite a tight fit, but you can see here one of the large problems with this dryer not drying efficiently is the whole fan is caked full of fluff. Now I'm going to show you how to actually remove the fan blade and replace it with a new one. This one is in reasonable condition, but I'm going to show you how to do this. Right, here we have the cover, and it looks like someone has been working on this machine before, because there's meant to be a clip actually holding the fan blade in place. I have one of the clips here, and that should be around the fan blade, but we need to remove the fan blade first. So using a large flat blade screwdriver, carefully just try to prise it off the shaft, and there we go. Now what normally happens with these when they go wrong is they can actually, because it's plastic, they can sometimes warp, and you'll hear a strange noise on the tumble dryer where it's actually catching on the housing inside the back, or as this one is seriously fluffed up, and I'll just remove some of it for you to see. And as I said, this type of fluff is potentially a fire hazard, never mind the loss of efficiency on the machine, but you've got enough there to make a jumper nearly. Anyway, what we'll do now, while it's apart, I'm quickly going to clean up the motor, remove as much of the dust as possible. I usually use a paintbrush, dry paintbrush, and a vacuum cleaner just to remove all the fluff from here, and then we'll clean out the housing at the back of the machine as well. Right, now we've cleaned the whole motor up and everything, we'll reassemble it. So the first thing that needs to go on is the cover. Make sure you get it the right way round as it came off. And then we'll drop our clip on, which wasn't there previously, and this can only go on one way. We've got a lip here, and that goes on the flat part of the shaft, so that goes on like that. And make sure it goes all the way down. And now we need to get some pliers. Hook nose ones are the best for this, to get onto the clip. And open the clip up. And that's where the clip sits, like that. And now we're ready to reassemble it. But the first thing before reassembling, we need to clean out all the tube in the back here, because it's caked with fluff. So as you can see, all this needs to be cleaned out. It's usually worth going through the fluff, because you'd be amazed how much money actually can get down in here. Coins out of pockets and so on. And you can see this would definitely cause a problem with the efficiency of the machine. So do take your time and clean it all out, because the more you clean, the less chance of other stuff sticking to it. So now, as I said, we need to insert the motor. This was in the 2-3 o'clock position, and we need to get this location lug lining up down here. So slide the motor in, get the motor onto its brackets, and this can be a little bit fidgety, and that's locked into place. Now make sure it spins freely and not catching on anything before you do the screws up, otherwise you'll have to take it out. We just need to connect up the wiring. You took a photograph of it, hopefully. And I'll put a cable tie on in a minute. Now we just need to put the screws in. These impactors are a very good tool to have, and we'll be putting some on the website for sale. Just getting a good supplier. So that's all in place, all correct. All we need to do now is put the pin in on the top of the fan blade to lock it in place. And this little pin lives right at the top there. I'll try and bring the camera closer for you. And this pin lives right at the top here, and it just stops this cover coming off. And that's all located. All we need to do now is just put a cable tie on the wiring here to keep it neat. And now all we need to do is put the belt on. And the belt has fallen forward, so we have to take the lid off just to bring the belt backwards. And there you go. Now you'll be able to line the belt up with the existing marks on the top of the drum, and then just stretch the belt over the pulley wheel and give it a couple of rotations just to make sure everything's lining up. There's clothes in the machine, that's the noise you can hear. And there we go. So the clip here goes on the far side. That's why you have the plinth off. And then this just clips over. And we're ready to put the back plate on. So all we have to do, fit the hose through. Slides under, be careful of your fingers, get it up and then pull it down to lock it in place. And we need to put the screws in. Now lining this up can be slightly difficult on occasions. And there's one. Once you've got one in, the other one's quite easy, and that goes underneath. And now we can put the screws around the whole panel. Now before finishing the machine and putting the plinth on, just go round the door frame and clear off all the fluff on here. Quite an easy job with a vacuum, but it allows for the air to flow cleanly through to the filter, which will improve the efficiency of the machine. And there we go. I've given the filter a good clean. Do it delicately, but all these little bits and pieces do help in the efficiency of running the machine and does reduce the energy consumption in your house if the machine is drying the clothes in the correct period of time, therefore you're burning less electricity. So I'm just going to put the filter back in and we're ready to put the plinth on. Now that the machine is all put back together, we'll put it on test in a second, but I thought I'd just show you what came out of the machine. Not only is this a fire hazard, it also causes problems with the efficiency of the machine, having this much fluff built up in the pipework on the fan blade. Now the machine is all clear, it'll be working to full efficiency. So let's just plug the machine in and put it on test with a load. As you can hear, it's all running perfectly and it's quiet now. At the website there are other tutorials to help you either replace the heater, the thermostatic system, the front forward thermostat system. We also have videos on the motor and the capacitor, and also how to change the bearings and the ventos, which is a common fault on these machines. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please remember you can support the website by clicking on the Buy Paul a Beer page and donating, and if you need any parts please visit the website. Thanks for watching.